Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are ready for today's case because this case has been unsolved for 25 years. The case that I'm going to be talking about is the case of Teekah Lewis. And Teekah Lewis disappeared from a bowling alley in 1999 in Tacoma, Washington. Before we get started, I just want to say please like and subscribe for more true crime. I post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so let's jump right into it. Just a bit of background on this particular case. Teekah Lewis was only 2 years old when she had vanished from the New Frontier Lanes bowling alley in Tacoma, Washington, while out with her family on January 23rd, 1999. Another detail I want to mention before we jump into this case is that just a month prior to Teekah's disappearance, a 6-year-old boy was nearly taken from that same bowling alley, and a young boy had been assaulted in the bathroom the previous December. So right away we can already tell that this particular bowling alley has a issue going on. And what I want you guys to think about when I talk about this case is, could this be the same person who's responsible for Teekah's disappearance? Because it seems that there's a pattern going on with stuff with children going on at this particular bowling alley. Why nobody was investigating it and why there wasn't like a security guard put into that place, I have no idea, but that is what is happening in this particular bowling alley. The day Teekah went missing was supposed to be a very fun family gathering. It was on January 23rd, 1999, and Teekah was with multiple family members at the New Frontier Lanes bowling alley. On this particular day, the bowling alley was extremely busy because it was league night, and Teekah's family had been near lanes 7 and 8, which were the middle lanes. There were multiple children around. Family members had been taking turns watching Teekah to make sure that she was not wandering off into the arcade area. And Teekah had been particularly drawn to a claw game machine that her uncle was playing. So she had played with her uncle and even won a teddy bear, which she gave to her 10-month-old sister that night. And her family began letting Teekah go back and forth to the arcade just because she did have arcade coins. They were continuously looking back at her, making sure that she was fine, and she just continued to play games and go back and forth between the lanes and the arcade. Everything had seemed to have been going great that particular night until about 10 p.m. when Teekah's mother had turned back around. She only turned around, I believe, for it was about like 3 or 5 seconds. Teekah completely vanished. Her family immediately scoured the bowling alley, but there were no signs of her. They called the police, and an extensive search had begun to find out where Teekah went. The search was about 15 hours long, and yet they still were not able to gather any information on what happened to Teekah. However, someone did come forward and they told authorities that an unidentified individual in a maroon Pontiac Grand AM sped out of the parking lot around the same time Teekah had vanished. The car was described as a 4-door late 1980 or early 1990 model with dark tinted windows and a large spoiler. One witness stated that it was a white man, possibly in his 30s, with short length brown hair, a mustache, pock marks, and a large nose. This particular witness claimed that someone matching this description had been seen lingering around the exit following Teekah. Now, again, I always get so agitated when witnesses come forward and they see something so suspicious and they don't say anything. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm out in public, I feel like I'm very vigilant about everything and I'm always aware of my surroundings. And if I see someone that's lingering around a child very suspiciously, I'm gonna take note of it and I'm going to notice right away. I'm not gonna sit there and just be like, oh, I'm gonna go on about my day. I always hate when the witnesses come forward like this and they see this and they don't say anything or report anything. But I don't know, tell me what you guys think about that. And on January 26th, search dogs had led investigators to a pile of men's clothing that had been stashed underneath a bush across the street from the bowling alley where Teekah was taken. It was believed that the clothing had not been there long, but the clothing, unfortunately, could not have been directly linked to Teekah's case. There was no DNA evidence on it. They had no idea who it belonged to, and there was another dead end. And afterwards, since no evidence had came up, investigators decided to just do a lot of news reports, as well as there was many vigils. There were searches that would be done in the following coming years, and yet nothing new was discovered for Teekah's case. As I had mentioned before we began this case, about a month prior to Teekah's disappearance, a boy had been assaulted in the bathroom of the New Frontier Lanes bowling alley. A security guard had claimed that they saw the person previously in the bowling alley and had assumed that it was the boy's father. So this person, whoever this man is, has frequently went to this bowling alley. I think that he knows that nobody cares what's going on in that bowling alley, because clearly he's been here multiple times. Because that specific day where that boy was assaulted in the bathroom, someone had tried to abduct 2 children from a local park that was only a mile away from the bowling alley. Fortunately enough, the father of the 2 children had chased the unidentified man away, but the father didn't report this incident until about 3 days later, after he found out about Teekah's disappearance. He did, however, report that the unidentified man was driving a blue 1995 Pontiac Grand Am. Why did the father not report this? Again, I have absolutely no idea, because it just seems like anytime someone sees anything in these cases, they never say anything. And like, it just leaves me like so frustrated, because it's like, if somebody just tried to abduct your children, yeah, you chase them off, but you're not gonna call the police to report, hey, there's a man trying to abduct children. I don't know, maybe it's just the mindset in the 90s or something, that people are not thinking logically. I don't know. But could this person that tried to abduct those 2 children, could they possibly have something to do with Teekah's disappearance? I just keep thinking that they might have, but then at the same time, I'm also thinking the MO. I mean, it seems like this particular person is only going for little boys, and Teekah was a girl. So I don't know, leave your thoughts down below about that particular detail in this case. And in 2001, there had possibly been a potential breakthrough when an unidentified body of a 4-year-old girl in St. Louis was found. Authorities had referred to her as Precious Doe, and Teekah's DNA had been tested to see if it was a match, but unfortunately, it was not a match. So, Precious Doe, I heard recently that case had got solved, but it had nothing to do with Teekah. And I know this is just, it's so unfortunate for the family, because you just seen your little girl just having fun at the arcade. You're watching her, you turn around for 1 second and she's completely gone. And I know my heart breaks for them, because I can't imagine that. Just making sure you're so vigilant, having all of your family members watching your daughter, and she just vanishes and nobody knows where she is. And then you have people who see suspicious things and then they don't say anything. It's just all so frustrating, guys. On December 1st, 2022, a press conference was held by the Tacoma police to show an age progress photo of Teekah and what she might look like now. She would be 26 years old today, guys, and unfortunately there hasn't been any updates in this case. And it's just, again, these cases always get me like so emotional, because she was just a child. If she is still alive, she probably doesn't even know that she was abducted, because there are cases where people get abducted at such a young age and they're just living life without even knowing who they are, because people are that cruel to do something like that. And I think it just makes it so sad, because it just, an ordinary day at a bowling alley just turned into this crazy, unfortunate mess. And it seems like this could have possibly, and again with these cases, it's always, again, so frustrating, this could have possibly been prevented. It seems like this bowling alley had like so many incidents, and that whoever that unidentified man is, it seems like he frequently went to that bowling alley, frequently, because there's an assault going on, somebody tried to get abducted, somebody almost got abducted 2 miles away. There's just too much things going on, and yet nobody's reporting anything. Nobody's holding the bowling alley like accountable. Nobody's saying like, oh, let's hire a security guard to check to see who's going in, who's going out. It's just, And again, I know like not everything can be prevented because, you know, if a person is going to do something evil, they're going to find many ways to do it. But again, multiple times something has been going on within this bowling alley, and multiple times have somebody try to say, oh, somebody tried to abduct somebody or somebody did something horrific, and yet there has been nothing changed. If you have any information regarding Teekah Lewis's disappearance, please contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. Again, that's 1-800-222-8477. Guys, let me know what you guys think down below. Have you guys heard of this case? I heard of this case a couple of years ago, and I thought it was just so devastating. What are your thoughts? Do you think that that unidentified man has something to do with Teekah Lewis's disappearance, or do you guys think that that's just a whole separate incident? And let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for more true crime.